Today we are going to discuss about star delta transformation. That means we need to determine the star equivalent delta and delta equivalent star connection. Okay. For this derivation part, first we need to determine the resistance between AB, thereafter BC, thereafter CA for the star connection as well as delta connection. Okay. Now first I am going to determine the resistance between AB, BC, CA for this star connection. Okay. Now this is the resistances for AB, BC, CA. Now sir, how we are going to get that? Now resistance between A and B means between these two elements. Now if you observe here, how these two are connected? These two are connected series. So it is RA plus RB. Thereafter, between this BC, that means these two elements. Now here RB, RC both are connected series. So it is RB plus RC. Thereafter, between this A and C. So here RA, RC both are connected series. So it is RA plus RC. Now this is for star connection. Similarly, we can do for delta connection also. Now for this first case between A and B. Now here between A and B means here if you observe the circuit, here these two are connected series. Whatever the current present in the R2, the same current is flowing to this R3. That means here these two are connected series. So first we need to do the series operation of these two, that is R2 plus R3. Thereafter, this and this combination both are connected in parallel. Now here R1 is in parallel with R2 plus R3. If you do this derivation part, you will get R1 into R2 plus R3 by R1 plus R2 plus R3 by using the formula R1 R2 by R1 plus R2 if two elements are connected in parallel. Okay. If R1 R2 both are connected in parallel, then the formula is given by R1 R2 by R1 plus R2. By using that formula, we can write this equation. Okay. Similarly, between B and C also we can determine. Between B and C, what will happen here? Now, between B and C means here these two are connected series in this case. Why? Because the current present in the R1, same current is flowing to the R2. So it is R1 plus R2 in parallel with R3. Now here R1 plus R2 in parallel with R3. Again, you can write this equation by using the parallel operation. Thereafter, between C and A, between these two. Now determining the relationship between A and C means these two are connected series in this case. So R1 plus R3. Now this combination is in parallel with R2. Now here R1 plus R3 in parallel with R2. Now this one second. Okay. Here this is for star connection and this is for delta connection. Okay. Okay. Now here for star as well as for delta. Now we need to equate this star equivalent to delta. That means, if you observe here, this resistance, RA-RB resistance in the case of star is equal to RA-RB resistance in the case of delta. That means we need to equate RA plus RB is equal to R1 R into R2 by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Now we need to equate these two parts. That means resistance between A and B in the case of star is equal to the resistance between A and B in the case of delta. Okay, we need to equate these two parts. Now you will get this equation. Similarly, RB plus RC is equal to this part. We need to get these two parts. Similarly, RC plus RA is equal to this part. That is what I written here. Okay. Now thereafter, here we have three equations, 1, 2, 3. From these three equations, we can determine the unknown values of RA, RB, and RC. Okay. To determine this, first I am going to do, you can do this equation 1 plus equation 2 minus equation 3. Then what will happen here? RA plus 2RB. First see the LHS side. RA plus RB plus RB, it is 2RB plus RC. Okay. Thereafter minus RC minus RA. That means RC cancel, RA cancel. You will get only minus 2RB. Similarly, you can do on the RHS side. Okay. If you do like this, first case 1 plus 2 minus 3. Second case 2 plus 3 minus 1. Third case 1 plus 3 minus 2. That means equation 1 plus equation 2 minus equation 3. Thereafter equation 2 plus equation 3 minus equation 1. Thereafter equation 3 plus equation 1 minus equation 2. If you do all these operations, then you will get the RA value, RB value, RC value as like this. Okay. Now, if you observe here, RA equation is given by the multiplication factor of connected elements. That means here how this RA is formed. This RA is formed because of this R1 and R2. That means here this is your RA, this is your RB, this is your RC. Okay. Now that means delta converted to star like this. Okay. Now this is your RA. Okay. Now for RA, which elements are connected? R1, R2 both are connected. So it is R1, R2 by total resistance. Similarly, now this is my RB. See here, this is RB. Now here, this is your RB. Now for RB, R1, R3 both are connected. So it is R1 into RC by total resistance. Similarly, see here, this is your RC. That means here you may have RC. Now for RC, R2, R3 both are connected. Okay, so now it is R2 into R3 by total resistance. Okay, like this we can determine RA, RB, RC values. Okay, thereafter I want R1, R2, R3. For that, simply we need to multiply RA, RB, thereafter RB, RC, thereafter RC and RA. See here, RA, RB, RB, RC, 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 RA. Thereafter, we need to add all these equations. That means what you are doing in first case, we are doing RA, RB multiplication. Second case, we are doing RB, RC multiplication. Third case, we are doing RC, RA multiplication. After multiplying RA, RB, RB, RC, RC, RA, we need to add all these elements. Okay. Similarly, RHS side also. After doing this LCM, you will get this equation. Okay. Now, if you solve this equation, at one step, you will get the equation like this. Okay. After doing this solvation, you will get this equation. Okay. Now, from this, if you observe here, now what will happen to this R2, R3 by R1 plus R2 plus R3? And now see here, R2, R3 by R1 plus R2 plus R3, we can substitute this value here. That means this value is equal to RC. Substitute here RC. R1 into RC is equal to this total part. Okay. See here, R1 into RC is equal to this total part. From this you can write R1 value as like this. R1 value is equal to RA, RB plus RB, RC plus RC, RA by opposite resistance. Okay. Like this we can write R2 and R3. Now this is star equivalent delta and delta equivalent star. Okay. Now this is the star to delta and delta to star transformation. Okay. Thank you.